What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's Seven Figures Club podcast, Seven Figures Nation. We've got an awesome topic for you today, and it's that topic of how you rebound from a massive mistake, a big error, something that really gets stuck in your head, and what the steps are to get past that, move forward, pivot to prosperity, and build your seven figures empire. So let's get going.
There are over 32 million businesses in the U.S., and over 90% of them will never break seven figures in annual sales. So how do we as entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs break into that seven figures club? This podcast will relentlessly share the secrets, strategies, and tactics I've used to create 3 multi-seven figures businesses and bring in even more successful entrepreneurs than me to share their inspirational stories and tactics to success. You can create your dream business and life right now. So buckle up and let's go.
All right. Hope you guys are doing well. We are at the end of the third quarter. 2021 is flying by. Soon we're going to be, in the fourth quarter. And, in the sports metaphor world, fourth quarter is where it's at. We've got to finish strong in the fourth quarter. And in order to do that, there's a few things that we've got to be good at. And one of those is definitely being able to bounce back from a marketing campaign that failed, from an employee that you hire that ends up being a cancer that you have to, end up firing, that you spent a lot of time, money, research, trying to train up that person and it didn't work out. These are all part of the, growing pains, the real world experience of entrepreneurs. And again, the purpose of this podcast is how can we, get into the seven figures club? How can we be one of the 7% of business owners that actually, bring in $1 million a year in sales? And then what's the next step? Well, how do we get to 8 figures and beyond and get into the top 1% of business owners in this country? So that, my friends, is what we want to tackle. Now, I've been busy the last, really since August 1st. I've coached my first 2 sons in tackle football. Now I'm coaching my third. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with coaching, in that I love coaching the kids. I love creating great offensive plays that score touchdowns, and there's nothing better than seeing those young kids execute a play, work hard, practice, and see success. However, it does take a lot of time, and as an entrepreneur, we don't always have a lot of time. We have to manage our time very carefully, so that makes things complicated during that 2.5 month period where I'm busy. I guess it's almost 3 months coaching tackle football, but incredibly enough. And you know what's funny? Sometimes you spend all this time and effort, like my first 2 sons, talented in a lot of different ways, but I played quarterback in high school. I wanted, to work with them, see if maybe they could. And each time, even as the head coach, there was someone better. They played different positions. My second son's, become, into soccer. He's on a premier soccer league team, so he's not even playing football anymore. My oldest son is into music and starts his first year of college, started just a couple weeks ago. But so I didn't work that much with my third son. Didn't expect him to end up being a superstar. He kind of liked sports, kind of didn't, but then something happened. It was about a year ago. We were in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, at a resort, my favorite spot in the world, and there was this competition where they had footballs in Mexico, and they were throwing these footballs through like a hoop. And so there was maybe 100 people around the pool area at the resort. And so they were doing this contest, and there was a bunch of adults, and Jonas, my 9-year-old, who I'm coaching, he's like, I'm going to participate. And so Jonas was participating. My 12-year-old Marcus was. And incredibly enough, Jonas makes it to the finals against this adult, and he beats him. So he wins this contest, and I start thinking, maybe he actually does have some talent at quarterback. I don't think too much about it. I don't work with him a lot at it. And now fast forward, so it was him and another kid competing for the quarterback spot, and we're only 2 games in. They're only in 4th grade. There's no need to get too excited, but he's played really well. He scored a touchdown on a 4th down play that sealed our first game. The second game, he threw 2 touchdown passes, and you don't see that a lot in 4th grade. So pretty remarkable. So that's what I've been busy doing here is working on our business, working with my partner, working with our clients and so many, funding CEOs and partners and growing and seeing millions of dollars put together for funding for entrepreneurs across the country. But we, as business owners, we always face these challenges, these difficulties, these trials. And so how do you deal with those? And it was funny. So we had practice on Monday with our team, and it's Labor Day, and I'm sure most, I'm a relentless guy. I'm not looking to take days off and sit at home and do nothing. So I went to work on Labor Day and worked with some clients, some partners. We had football practice on Labor Day. And so clearly a lot of the kids had been partying at the pool. They'd been having a good time. They got to practice, and they were having a terrible practice. Like the best kids on the team were not playing well. And they would literally make a big mistake in practice, and then they spent the next half hour to hour down and depressed and acting like just because they had one thing go against them that the rest of practice had to be bad and that they were going to fail at everything in the rest of practice. And so I sat all these kids down, and it was kind of funny. I didn't know what I was going to say, but I wanted to share a message where, listen, guys, we make mistakes, we screw up, here's how we rebound. And in that very moment when I'm talking to these kids, this incredible, thought and message comes to my mind. And so in our family, we love the New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees fans, he just retired, and Taysom Hill fans, and love that team. Been watching and supporting that team really for the last 15 years since Drew Brees went there. And a couple years ago, they were playing the Minnesota Vikings in the NFL playoffs. And the Minnesota Vikings had this receiver, Adam Thielen. He was coming on, really starting to become a bit of a star in the league, and it was his first playoff game. He'd never been in the playoffs before. And so Minnesota is taking on the Saints, and they're in New Orleans, and Adam Thielen has this wide open, 25-yard catch, and he drops it. And throughout the season, I don't think I ever saw this guy drop the ball. Like, he is always dialed in, locked in. He's one of those extra effort guys. He wasn't drafted. He grew up in Minnesota, wanted to play for the Vikings, walked on basically, came on as a free agent to the team, and not only made it, is a starter, has played well, and he screws up in the biggest moment of his life on the playoff stage against the New Orleans Saints, in that playoff game. And the camera goes to him, and it shows him taking an imaginary ball and flushing it. Literally, he's flushing this down the toilet. And everyone's like, I wonder, what that meant, what that was all about. And towards the end of the game, it goes into overtime. Minnesota gets the ball, and they throw this unbelievable 50-yard bomb down the middle of the field. Adam Thielen can't even see it. He's looking up to the sky, just feeling, and he makes the catch, gets down. They win that game, much to my chagrin. The Saints are out of the playoffs and had a really good team that year. And Adam Thielen comes through in the clutch. And so at the end of the game, the reporter's asking, Adam, how in the world did you rebound from this huge, massive mistake that could have cost your team the game to now actually making the play that wins the game on the biggest stage of your career in the NFL playoffs on the road at Saints Stadium? And he says, you know what? I have this coach, this almost psychologist, and they're like, listen, when you screw up, when you make that big mistake, take that mistake, flush it down the imaginary toilet, and move on to the next play, and that mistake is gone. And I thought that was such a great metaphor for business owners, entrepreneurs, for every aspect of life. When you screw up, when you make that mistake, take it, flush it down the toilet, never repeat it again. I always tell everyone, hey, to make one mistake is human, but to make the same mistake twice is egregious. We can't let that happen. And that's exactly what he did. And so as I'm sitting, talking with our team, these young fourth grade kids that are 9 and 10 years old, this is what I'm talking to them about. And it's just such a powerful example that we can all use in our lives, because sometimes some of us have a business failure and then we give up on entrepreneurship. We have, an obstacle with health or, a family member, something big that happens, and then we let that one thing derail us for the rest of our lives, and we can't do that. Life is too short, and the most successful people have had massive setbacks. The most successful people have, failed big, and then rebounded big. And as Mark Cuban says, you only have to be right in business one time to change your life forever. And the amazing blessing and benefit we have in this country is you can, start that business. Things can go bad. You might even go bankrupt like I did, but you can come back stronger than ever. You only have to be right once in business. And if you can look and learn to get past that mistake, to get past that error, that hurdle in life, and look at it as a true learning experience, not as something that defines you, but as something that drives you, that pushes you to success, that you learn a lot from, well, that, my friends, is how you're going to succeed and ultimately come on top. So when you have that mistake, whatever it might be, take it, flush it down the toilet, and never repeat it again. Never worry about it again. Move forward, and success will be yours.
Are you looking for more seven-figure secrets, content, or even how you can launch your own recession-proof business? Then check out sevenfigures.com. That's the digit 7, Figures.com, where we share more videos, stories, strategies, funding solutions, entrepreneurial education, and even the secret business type that's recession-proof. Thank you for listening, and if you're finding value in our podcast, please give us a 5-star and invite others to join the club.